Webinar 6, Coping. So most people who have been diagnosed with LMS have faced trauma and maybe PTSD. With trauma, you're faced with a life-threatening situation and you feel pure terror and helplessness. And a violent act is only a few minutes and it goes away, but cancer doesn't go away. Every CT is like Russian roulette. So many of us have post-traumatic stress disorder as well. That's when you re-experience the trauma. Usually that looks like intrusive thoughts and fears over and over. Some people feel numb, might isolate themselves. Anxiety is usually part of it. And it interferes with your work, your relationship, and overall functioning. Depression is usually part of both the trauma and the PTSD. So the little graphic with the two brains, the yellow is a normal brain that's not depressed, and the blue brain on the left is someone who is depressed. So you can see certain areas of the brain are not being used or lit up. And I could tell you from my own experience, I faced a lot of depression. It felt like I had weights on my arms and legs. Everything just took a lot of energy to do. And worse, my motivation to do it was gone. The good news, it's treatable. Newer drugs are on the market, and see a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. They're the ones who specialize in medications in the brain. Stick with it till you find what works for you. Personally, it took me 1.5 years to get the right combination, and I'm on a cocktail of 3 different antidepressants, and I've never felt better in my life. So did stress cause your cancer? Probably not. No study's ever proven that stress causes cancer. Cancer is caused by mutations in the DNA, and nature makes mistakes. The cancer cell is part of your own body, and then the immune cell doesn't recognize it as a bad guy to destroy it. Even healthy, strong immune systems will not recognize a cancer cell. I can tell you that stress encourages tumor growth and metastasis. And here are 3 different studies that validates that. So here are some more studies that say stress may make existing cancer worse. So at MD Anderson, there's a book, Psychosocial Oncology, and the authors include, when it comes to stress, that chronic stress and depression enhance tumor progression and negatively affect the outcome by influencing the pathways involved in progression and survival of the cancer cells. That stress hormones play a role in the tumor cell survival and proliferation, as well as many of the steps required for metastasis. Okay, so there was a study done by Martin Selgum of University of Pennsylvania, and he took 3 groups of mice and embedded cancer cells in them, the same cancer cells. And he gave them the first 2 shocks, electric shocks. And the second one, he gave shocks and a lever, which they could stop the shocks. And the third one, no shocks at all, so they could run around and do little mice things as normal. And who do you think had the least amount of cancer? It was the number 2 mouse, the ones who got the shocks and the lever to stop it. So the researcher concluded, it's not just the stressor, it's the perception of helplessness that promotes the cancer development. Only 23% of the helpless rats fought off their cancers. The empowered rats, who had the lever, fought off their cancer 63% more than the control group with no stress, and that was 54%. 3 other studies on these rats have confirmed the same finding. So you may not be able to change the fact that you have cancer, but you can take control of your appointments. You can get yourself to a sarcoma center. You can try to read research. You can watch webinars, participate in research, and get treatment for depression and anxiety. You need to make a life change and practice more positivity. Now, a disclaimer, I'm not asking you to be positive about having cancer. That would be crazy. But Be positive despite having cancer. What's positivity? Researchers have defined them as these below. Read each one and try to feel it. So you want to increase the happy chemicals in your brain. Dopamine gives you energy and alertness. It's the pleasure feeling. Reward, it gives you motivation and drive, appetite, learning, and it helps with motor control. And then on the right, you can see the natural sources of how you can get that. Serotonin, that's happiness. It helps with impulse control, memory, feelings of confidence and importance. It helps with your sleep and learning. And that one, more sunlight and exercise helps. Endorphins, those are the brief bursts of euphoria and well-being feelings, and it helps block pain. Norepinephrine helps control stress, concentration, attention, energy, motivation, and a sense of well-being. And oxytocin, that's the love chemical. It helps with trust, bonding, empathy, social ties, and relaxation. Now, if you look at the left column, there's one thing all these happy chemicals have in common on how you can get more sources of them. Do you see it? It's exercise. Now, if you can't muster up any positive feelings at all, it's time to get treatment and get help. So remember, happy people have happy habits. So here's a happy habit. When you have good feelings, relish them. So take a moment and think, what makes you smile? Finishing a hard task? A compliment? Seeing a puppy? Your favorite thing on sale? Holding hands, hugs, jokes? Keep them and relish them as long as possible. Another habit, get rid of negativity around you. Make a list. Drainers and gainers. Make a list of all the things that drain your energy and all the things that give you energy. So maybe it's chores you put off as a drainer, negative news stories over and over, toxic people. What might bring you energy? Buying fresh flowers, finishing that project, dinner with friends, maybe exercise and yoga. After you make your list, look at your drainers and try to get rid of those out of your life. So here's my favorite technique, and it's been empirically proven to work. It's cognitive behavior therapy. So your thoughts, feelings, and behavior all affect each other. It's impossible for them not to. So if you change your thoughts, it will change how you feel, and it will change how you act. It's also important to look at where you're coming from in terms of your perspective. Which box are you standing in at most of the time? The victim sees everything as happening to them, and they have excuses for things. The warrior is an angry person who's going to take it out on everybody. It's everybody else's fault. The big picture is when you see a more balanced reality and you can empathize with every player in the game. And acceptance is acceptance. It's when you really come to terms and peace with what is. So talking about victims, I just like this one slide. You are not a victim. No matter what you've been through, you're still here. You may have been challenged, hurt, betrayed, beaten, discouraged, but nothing has defeated you. You are still here. You have been delayed but not denied. You're not a victim, you're a victor, and you have a history of victory. Happy people control their gremlins, and that's the name that I give those little negative voices in your head that keep you down. Gremlins are really just trying to keep you safe, and they're very scared of change. So instead of getting mad at the little voices in your head that are negative and self-limiting, instead nurture them and reassure them. Talk back to them as if they are a child who is scared. Here's another list to make. What you control and what you can't control. So maybe you can't control traffic and rude people, long waits for the doctor. losing your hair or feeling tired. But what you can control is maybe your schedule and asking someone for help, taking a walk, deciding on a treatment plan, taking your medications, getting to bed early, and controlling your thoughts. And see that little mouse there? That's a reminder of the mouse who had the choice to pull the lever and didn't have to feel helpless. Happy people keep moving forward. They have goals. Come up with some goals for yourself. Maybe it's to exercise daily or eat a meal with friends. Try a meditation class. Read a funny book, watch videos, or start a gratitude journal. And they have dreams. Maybe your dream is a trip to see an old friend or to become a cancer coach. Write that book. Become an expert golfer. Join a choir. Learn a new skill or volunteer. I want you to pay attention to this slide because gratitude is everything. Every day, write down a list, no matter how small, what you are grateful for, and it'll change your life. I once was very moved by a husband on our online support group who shared his wife's gratitude journal as she was in her last days. And it read, "I'm grateful today because I can empty the dishwasher." And the number one factor to being happy is connection to others. Resilient people let other people help them. They join support groups. So join our LMSDR Facebook group. Reach out to family and friends. Okay, so to summarize, most cancer patients experience post-traumatic stress disorder and or depression. Stress can make existing cancers worse. Feeling empowered might help fight the cancer. Seek treatment from a psychiatrist. Be positive despite your cancer. Happy people have happy habits. Relish good feelings. Change your thoughts and you'll change your feelings and behavior. Look for the big picture and seek acceptance. Acknowledge your gremlins and reassure them. Make a list of what you can and what you can't control. Get rid of negative thoughts in your life and bring in the positive things. Keep moving forward with trying new things, having goals and dreams. Practice gratitude and make connections and be kind to others. And I'm going to leave you with this before I give you a bonus round. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. And I'd like to see everybody turn PTSD into PTGD, post-traumatic growth syndrome. So much of what I gave you comes from a presentation I wrote called Growing Through It, A Journey from Panic to Powerful. Now I'm going to give you the bonus rounds, and much of this comes from our online support group and patients who have been in your shoes. What we wish we had known when we started this journey. This is wisdom offered from LMS survivors to you.